Feels good to be back. Um, yeah, nice chill day today. Got some ideas of things I want to write today, so I'll probably get some good writing done. But yeah, it feels nice to not really have to do anything. Feels nice to have a break for once. Um, yeah, it's just cool. But I don't know. I was thinking I gotta find a consistent time to stream, but my schedule is like not consistent right now. So yeah, that's the predicament. I gotta find a good time. Um, yeah, aside from that, that's all I got going on. Posting a video, or I'm uploading a video right now that should be out when I'm done with this. It's on Frankenstein, so hopefully you guys will like that. It was actually a really good book. What I liked about that book so much was it wasn't the greatest books you read. Not only have a great narrative, but they also have a great like messaging to them, a great symbolic meaning to it, and that's certainly what you have in Frankenstein because it's not just a story about the monster; it's the story about how the creation of man ultimately leads to his downfall. About how trying to do something that hasn't been done is always something that leads you to some sort of misstep, some sort of mistake. So bad I'm out of breath just walking around. Damn, I just shaved my head. It looks like I have no hair right now. I swear it's just the lighting. Why are you in my stream if you're what? It's going pretty good. Stay humble. How's everything with you? Why would you be on YouTube if you just broke your leg? I'm so confused. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, where am I from? From the US. Please, it's at 1%. Dude, just make the emergency call, man. Do you face heartbreak? What do you mean? Like, how do you face heartbreak? Or like, have I faced heartbreak? I think we all have, and it's really just a matter of like I think we need to take it for what it is. Like when you get your heart broken, like it's a period in your life where you're gonna grow a lot. It's a period where you're gonna have to reevaluate things and you're gonna have to face some hard truths. So like just embrace it for what it is. It's gonna suck, but you know, when you come out on the other end of it, come out for the better. Don't come out for the worse. Like a lot of people take a breakup, they take a heartbreak and it breaks them down and they never really recover. But use it as like a period of transformation. You'll be fine, man. You love US? Yeah, US is pretty cool. I mean, really depends what state you're in, but I think there's actually like most states are like pretty good. Some states are a little better than others, but yeah. 911 doesn't have callers. What are you talking about? That's not how this works. I have discovered your channel by doom scrolling. Well, this channel is about book reviews and talking about books, talking about ideas I find interesting. I mean, if that's for you, then stick around. If it's not, then I'm glad you saw me at least. my friend from the US. For 6 months, I lost my 7 year relationship. I mean, that's rough because think in 7 years you're like you become a different person, they become a different person, and like you probably were growing together for some period. But I mean, just be happy that it didn't happen after 10 years, man. Like I that's really all you can take it. Like you either can be down in the dumps, you can either be defeated, or you can use what you have right now, use the energy you have right now for good. Like put it into something productive, put it into the energy you're using for that relationship, put it into something for you, put it into something with your friends or your family. Like I mean, it's really just getting getting past the point of like missing the person is the hardest part. But at a certain point you're gonna realize that like the relationship wasn't good for you, like it wasn't working, and you're more afraid of being alone than you are of anything else. You look rich. I'm not. What book would you recommend to a young man trying to find out what he wants to do in life? I think a good one for that is probably Mastery by Robert Greene. That's a really good one because it talks about, um, looking at your life, looking at the things that you really enjoy doing, and, really, really studying the craft, really mastering it, and then, doing great work with it. I think that's a good one. The problem is that it's such a vague subject. It's such a subjective subject that like a lot of the information that you're going to have to do is going to be through like self discovery. It's going to be through you trying and failing. And that's the sad part about it. But like, I think Mastery is a good book to kind of point you in the right direction. I'm trying to think. There's probably other ones as well. Um, why is it blanking my mind right now? Honestly, like any sort of book that's gonna like break your old paradigms of thought. So like a good one would be Psycho Cybernetics as well, because that's going to um, really show you who you truly are. Like not what you've become, who you really are. Because I think a lot of the issues that we struggle with is because we've gone in the wrong direction. You have an authentic version of yourself, and we like to sacrifice that for the sake of society, for the sake of fitting in. I don't know who Derek Muller is. No, I was addicted to her, but now I'm feeling. I mean, yeah, it's like once you get to the stage where it's like you're not broken up anymore, then you can start to see the relationship for what it was, and that's where you can gain a lot of insights. Like, I mean, I like to treat every relationship I've been in as like a learning experience. Like, I don't look back at it with any emotion. I don't look back at it and go, "What could have been." I just look back at it and go, like, what went wrong, what caused this, like what did I do to put this scenario in a negative position, what could I have done differently to in some way make the relationship stronger instead of making it weaker. And that's really how I like to approach things, because I mean, it doesn't do anything for me to blame the other person. It doesn't help my current relationship to blame the other person that hurt me in the past. The only thing that can help my current situation is learning what I did wrong and learning how to respond better so that I can, give my girlfriend the best version of myself, the fairest shake. Like, if I take everything that's happened to me and push it onto her, like that's not fair to her. Just because someone hurt me in the past doesn't mean she's gonna hurt me. And it's just being able to be open again. I think that's the key. Like, don't carry the baggage with you. Like, drop the baggage, take the lessons, and then take that into the new relationship. I mean, that's really all you can do, though. It's like anything though. Like most of the answers, most of the solutions, they're things you already know. They're not something you want to face. And it's being able to be open and honest with yourself. It's being able to ask yourself the hard questions and give yourself the hard answers. Like, if you were a shitty person in a relationship, most people will never recognize that. Most people would never have the self awareness to go like, you know what, maybe this person was awful to me, but I was probably a little bit awful to them. And had I been a little bit better, maybe it would have gone differently. Just recognizing that is so significant. The book I'm reading right now is You're right, bro. I also had a relationship. I was ugly for her, so she left me. That's just the fucked up reason to leave a relationship. But I mean, again, dude, if someone leaves you over something so childish as your appearance, then like, good riddance. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want a surface level love. You don't want someone that only likes you because of your characteristics. You want someone who likes you for who you really are. You know, obviously, looks play into it to a certain extent in the beginning, like with the physical attraction element. But like, if you're in a relationship and someone leaves you because you're ugly, that's not someone you want to be with. So, good riddance. Yeah, the book I'm reading right now it was like my favorite book when I was younger, and I like the more I read it, the more I cringe because I'm just like, why did I like this so much? I'm reading The Catcher in the Rye, and I'm just like, I'm almost like shaking my head page after page because like I just remember when I was younger, I was like, yeah, I feel the same way. Everyone's a phony. All this stuff's fake. Like it's such a cringe. It's so funny. What's up, HN? How's everything? Try to speak loud. I mean, you can't hear me. I can speak a little louder, but like I can also hold the phone closer. I feel like I'm already speaking pretty loud though. My nose is also stuffed though, so that might be a little reason why. But yeah, the more I read this book, the more I just laugh because I used to think this book was so profound. And maybe it's satirical, maybe it's not meant to be serious. I don't know. I would have to look into JD Salinger to really understand it. But it's really funny. Could be better. I mean, I'm having a pretty good day. Why could you be better? What's going on, man? Tell me something about yourself. I'm new on the channel. I like to read. I don't know. I'm not like the. I can't. When someone asks me about myself, I can't give you an answer. Like it's not. It's such a weird question. Like I feel like the only way you'd ever be able to understand me is just through observation. I feel like that's the only way we can tell about others. Um, yeah, I don't really like talking about myself. Damn. I wonder if that's only me though. Like the books you loved as a kid just don't age well at all. Feel bad, yeah. I mean, it's a really messed up situation, man. I think there's so many like horrific things going on in the world, and like people just complain about the wrong things. It's really really sad. And then they put like a political spin to it. Like they're like, oh, you must be this, you must be that. It's like I don't think caring about people should be politicized. I don't think having like basic respect for humanity should be politicized. Like I think when you reduce it to a political party and you reduce it to who you vote for, it's like it's just in such bad faith. I don't really get it. Please have a look outside. Dude, you were just complaining about how you couldn't hear anything, and if I go outside, you're gonna hear even less. What are you talking about? There's like people like mowing the lawn and stuff. I'm not going outside. You're just gonna be like, oh, speak even louder. Like, come on. It's weird. The past few streams, like all the people that normally are here, like all my mods, have not been here. It's weird. Yeah, I mean it's just I feel like it's just like I don't know why all of like the humanitarian effort just goes into things that really don't like I don't think the money's going to the right issues. I don't think the money's being spent well. I don't think like most of the people claiming to be helping people are doing anything. I think a lot of it's like, oh, I have this organization and I take a pay cut. I take a paycheck. I do like it's weird how people are making money off of tragedy in the world. I don't think you should be taking any sort of profit to run a nonprofit organization. I don't think anyone should be making money administering a charity. I think it should just be like rich people who do it out of the goodness of their heart. Like you shouldn't be paid if you work for a charity. Like it just seems like too much of a conflict of interest to me that you can get paid helping others because you're literally taking money out of the pockets of the people that are supposed to be helped. It's very weird to me. I never get how like these massive organizations like anyone gives money to them because like there's so much overhead, there's so much bureaucracy that like not a significant amount of the money is actually going to help the individuals that need the help. I mean, it's like with like Hurricane Katrina. There's still people living in the temporary housing that was built during Hurricane Katrina. Like, why are we like worrying about anything else except giving those people like a fair shake at life? What do you think about India? I mean, I'm pretty impartial. I don't know much about it. I like a lot of like their history, or not that I know it, but like I like the Vedas, the ideas of the that group are pretty interesting. So the honesty in this day and age is long gone. Well, yeah, everything is. Think about it. Like even the news isn't objective. The news is politicized. Like if you want to get the true story, you have to go to both news sources and then amalgamate it for yourself. There's no such thing as impartial news, and it's like what? You know what I mean? It's like every 4 years we get the same speech of "I'm going to save the country," and then we only have two ways to save the country. Like it doesn't make sense. Why are there only two sides to every issue? Why is there no such thing as like a unique solution? Why is there no such thing as an actual solution aside from, oh, I support this political party so that I have to agree with them on everything? It's so weird. I mean, this is like what Washington said in his one of his speeches. He talked about we shouldn't turn this country into a two-party system. I mean, this is even a point that Thoreau made. Thoreau made a great point. Thoreau claimed to be an independent voter. I don't know if he really was because I don't even know how much he voted. But basically, he was saying like, why do I have to choose from two candidates that were pre-selected in party primaries? Why can't I select a individual that's going to represent me as an individual voter, as an independent voter? It's just it just sucks that we're pigeonholed into one of two sides. But I think I really the only thing we can do, I think this is truly the only solution to any of this stuff, is I think it goes back to the Gandhi quote: "Be the change you want to see in the world." Like if you want to see a difference, you got to make it yourself. If you want to see great changes in the world, you have to be great change first, and that's the only way. It's through inspiration, through our actions. It's not through preaching to other people. It's not through telling other people. It's through actually going out and doing something. Why are you looking so serious? That's just my face. My bad, man. My face, like I look very serious. I'm not. I'm not serious at all. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, dude, like even going on Twitter is far worse. Like the people that get their news from Twitter are like just as uninformed because like you can go on one side of Twitter and get a crazy opinion, or you can go on the other and get an even crazier opinion. Like I just think there's no such thing as nuance. I just think there's no such thing as um Like we always hear that phrase, do your own research, but even when you do your own research, you're going to a biased news source. You're going to a news source that's trying to sell you an idea, that's trying to get you to believe a certain thing. And it's very unfortunate that like it's it's this way, you know what I mean? What's up, it's a name. How's everything? Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Can't complain. How's everything with you? I mean, do you call it X? I don't call it X, man. Do you still not think of it as Twitter? Like X is such a bad name. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Maybe if it's around for a few more years, I think people start using it. But I still use Twitter. Fasting in the month of Ramadan, it's not tough. Oh, okay. Wait, it's not tough or it is tough? Because what is you have to fast from sunrise to sunset, right? Which kind of sucks. It's I think it's easier to fast like while you're awake than while you're sleeping. Because whenever I used to, I guess I still sort of intermittent fast, but whenever I used to fast, I could not go to sleep hungry. What's your thought on Elon Musk? I mean, I think he's doing some interesting things. The one thing you have to say about him is at least he's trying something new. I'm not like, I'm not too sold on him. I don't really like the chip in the brain thing. I'm not huge on electric cars because it promotes bad things in Africa. It promotes a lot of slavery, a lot of exploitation there. So like I'm not really like one of those people that goes like he's saving the world. I also think he's doing some interesting things though, like with the reducing the costs of space travel. Trying to audit the government. I think these are like noble pursuits, and it's cool to see that like someone's actually thinking outside the box. Now, if you agree with him on everything, I think you're an idiot because anytime you agree with someone on anything, you're an idiot. But I like to look at the good things. Try to see the things that people are trying to do, and yeah. What would you ask from God if you have two wishes? I wouldn't really ask for anything, but I mean, I'm pretty happy with what I'm where I am right now. So looking very well, different in a good way. Okay, thank you. You should have said different in a bad way, then I'll get all self conscious. His cars have stopped selling in Europe. What do you mean, like they don't are like people not buying them, or they're not letting them over here so that people could even look at them? Yeah, that's actually a pretty good. Those are two pretty good wishes, to be honest. Way to outdo me. Declining sales of his cars, demand decline. Oh, okay, okay. Because I know some countries were gonna do they were like banning the sale of his cars. So I was wondering if that's what you were saying. I mean, it's like I don't know. I don't. It is what it is. Like I feel like he knew what was gonna happen when he made the decision. So the thing about Tesla is, I don't think a lot of people understand this. It's not really the amount of cars he sells that's the value of the company. It's the speculation and how valuable the cars and the infrastructure and everything he's building can become, because he doesn't just do cars, he also does solar, he also does the charging stations, and there's a lot more than just the electric cars. The crime, thank you Hypnaudio for the $5. It's so weird saying that. The crime which bankrupts men and states is job work, declining from your main design to serve a turn here and there. That's a great Emerson quote. What essay is that from? Should we break down that quote? That quote's basically saying that the the pigeonholing yourself into one profession, the idea that you must do this and only this for the rest of your life, and this is the only thing you can provide a value to your life, and the only thing you can provide a value to your society. It's a it's the idea that like you can live much more on your own. You could be much more self reliant. You can do things in a manner that are you don't have to put yourself in one box. America seems like an episode of The Simpsons right now. Dude, America's always been an episode of The Simpsons. You you act like it's like a normal functioning country. You know what I mean? Like you realize the origins of America are there was a 2% tax on tea, and we just threw a bunch of it into the harbor and then just said, "Fuck the strongest army in the entire world. We're gonna revolt." Like, do you think that country is going to be a sensible country? Who in his cabinet would be a good president in his absence? I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, JD Vance is like a very traditional conservative presidential feel to him. Um, I don't really agree with him on a lot of things, but I think he's the most like put together. Who's the Secretary of State or not Secretary of State? Secretary of State's Rubio. I don't really like Rubio. Who's the Speaker of the House again? I can't remember who the Speaker of the House is, but I don't know, man. I don't think anyone's gonna do a good job with this country now right now because it's such a precarious position. I feel like the past few administrations have just been like pushing the debt, pushing all of these issues like further down the road so that the next administration has to deal with them, and it's like an endless game of catch up. It's really sad because I mean, a lot of the issues in this country simply come from the fact that like you have to get votes to get into office, so you can't begin to address things that are going to take 20 years to fix because by the time it gets done, you're not going to get the credit for it. You're not going to be in office anymore. You have to hit on certain issues that rear its head every 4 years. Otherwise, you're not going to get elected. I think that's a lot of it as well. What is this conversation? I don't know. We're just talking about Musk, I think. Kool Aid Man and Randy Moss and Savage would be a good ticket. Didn't Vance hate him? I think a lot of. I mean, you got to think like in 2016 when Trump was an outsider, a lot of people in the Republican Party hated him, and once they saw him like was he was going to get the White House, they started to like favor him again. I mean, it's just a political game, man. You know what I mean? Like they all stab each other in the back. They all will pretend to be friends when it's useful for them. I don't think using that as like maybe he made public statements about him, but I don't know if he hated him. It was probably just like a political thing. I think there's just a lot of like two-facedness in politics that it's just the nature of the game. I mean, if you look at Kamala Harris was calling Joe Biden a racist while she was trying to get the Democratic primary seat or the right it would be the seat. Yeah, yeah. She was trying to get the Democratic primary, and then she's calling Biden a racist, and then she becomes his vice president, and it's like we all forgot about that. I just think it's like I just think it goes with the territory, and it just shows you like the people that are representing your interests really aren't in it for the right reasons. They're in it for the power. They're in it for the accolades. They're in it for the influence. Like I think it's kind of like I'm literally reading Catcher in the Rye, so I gotta use one of my favorite words from them. It's really phony. America's a wild place. Yeah, it is. It is. I think it's always been a wild place, and now people are kind of seeing just how crazy it is. But you have to think like our government, our media, our society as a whole, our art, it's all a reflection of our society in mass. So like what does it say about the average American people? It shows you that we're like a country in decline. It shows you that like the ideals we were founded upon aren't upheld. The things that were supposed to be present in this country aren't here anymore. And I mean, some people are optimistic about it. I'm not. I'm not very optimistic about governments in general. Um, the best thing that can happen now is the government gets smaller, the bureaucracy gets smaller, and people can better represent themselves in this country. Because I mean, there's so many things wrong. There's so many laws that benefit the rich and not the smaller workers, not the middle class, not the you know, working class, whatever you want to call it. It's really sad. Inflation and housing market is going bananas. I mean, if we had a French Revolution, I don't think that'd be a good thing because it's just chaos. Yeah, no income tax less than 150K is a good start. If Trump does that, then that's going to go a long way to doing a lot of good in this country. Because it's not even the thing about taxes is you can't tax someone with no income. So when they say tax the rich, it just means tax like the C-suite executives. It's not taxing the billionaires. The billionaires will never pay taxes because all of their money is based off of valuation of their corporations or valuation of their stock, or it's tied up in something that can't be touched. It's only when you take the money out. It's only when you get the capital gains that it can ever be attacked. So it's just like I think it's like a very disingenuous argument to say like tax people that are making this amount. Like that doesn't mean you're rich. Like the rich will never pay under this current system. This dog is like just staring at me. It's so weird. What I want to see come back to America is like small businesses. I think having small businesses, having the ability to invest in your community, to invest in the local small government and small organizations and small community. I think that's really where a lot of the value comes from. And when we nationalize these things, I think it disperses the money and it doesn't disperse it as well as it should be. And if we could get back to a place where like you had more mom and pop shops, where you had less Wendy's, less McDonald's, less Walmart's, less of these corporations that don't really care about you and just want to extract all your resources, I think that's a big key. Yeah, yeah. It's weird to me that there's we talk about middle class, we talk about working class, but we don't talk about that like everyone just works for corporations, and then even if you want to boycott these corporations, all that happens is people lose their jobs. And it's like I think there needs to be a return to something less like consolidated and more spread out, like Hypnotia was saying. I don't know, this all goes back to like the antitrust laws. Like we can't even really break up these corporations because one, it's going to destroy so many jobs if we break these corporations up. Um, and two, the antitrust laws really weren't designed for corporations; they were designed for trusts. Basically, what the robber barons were doing is so a business trust. All a trust is you grant ownership of something to someone else, and it could be for different terms. It could be for life. It could be after your death. It could be for a set period of time. It could be on a condition, and really what they were doing is they were buying up these companies, they were putting it in a trust, giving the ownership back to the owner, and as long as you met the terms they would do business with you, but they still owned all of the ownership, so at any time they could rip it out of your hands. And this is what allowed them to be so powerful, so strong, is that they weren't traded on the open market. They weren't invested in by a bunch of people, so they could just do whatever they wanted. They had so much ownership and so much control over like these huge industries that it really didn't matter. The corporate profit tax rate is too low. We didn't make it more profitable to invest in infrastructure and local workforce. Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like all of the the business legislation, it just promotes large businesses. Like what a um, minimum wage law does is it just puts mom and pop shops out of work because the only people that can afford to pay a higher minimum wage are the large corporations. And like the thing about minimum wage is it stops a lot of jobs from happening. Like a lot of the minimum wage jobs are going to go to like younger people who don't need as much money. I'm not saying like to not pay your employees like a decent rate. Like obviously, like if you're paying them like they were during the factory days of like England, like that's not okay. But I think it's like it's an issue that like seems like something good. It seems like you're doing something good, but it also just it raises food costs. It raises costs of all these goods. Like give them tax breaks for actually doing the right thing by the people. Yeah, yeah. I just think it's like these things will never happen though because there's just too much money going to lobby for these government officials that are just caring about corporate interests. There's nothing. It's nothing aside from corporations putting these people in power to create more favorable laws for big business and eat away at the competition. Yeah, well, why is lobbying not illegal? Like, I don't think any single person wants lobbying. I don't think any single person on either side thinks lobbying is a good thing. Why are why are multinational corporations getting a bigger seat at the table than you? Why are multinational corporations having more say on how the government is controlled than me and you, the people that actually elect these people? That's like I don't know why these aren't things that are talked about. I don't know why we just talk about like right versus left or this versus that or like, oh my god, this person's the worst. Oh my god, this person's like why are these the things that we're talking about? Like yeah, every single person in politics right now is not going to represent your interests because they're put in power by people that have different interests than you. It's very straightforward, and like we need to make it much more difficult to influence these people. Like you have pieces of legislation like the 17th Amendment that basically do away with the Republican process in this country, and like we wonder why we don't get good representation. It's because it's been so co-opted. But you know, what are you gonna do? Yeah. I mean, it really just comes back to like corporate greed and all this stuff. Like it's like I don't know, man. That's why I like um I want to start like a small business. I want to like you know provide services to people in my community because like I think that's really what's missing in this country. I think like you go through these small towns, you go through these you know these little downtown areas, and half the shops are boarded up. You know what I mean? There's like thousands and thousands of people walking by, but like, why are shops going out of business with so much foot traffic? And it's just because instead of going into these shops, instead of like, patronizing someone that like lives in your area that, their kid goes to the same school as you, instead of patronizing their business, you're gonna put more money in Jeff Bezos's pocket. It's like very weird. Yeah, that's a good point too. That's a lot of the reason for like the real estate tax benefits. It's like if you provide housing, if you provide jobs to people, that's in essence what the tax code's supposed to promote. It's supposed to promote people doing certain business practices that are going to make the economy stronger, that are going to make the economy better. But I think there's just too many loopholes. I think there has to be a better way of doing these things, and I think there has to be like more tangible benefit. It doesn't really seem like these things are helping as much as they should be. It's not really about the money. It's about wanting it to be distributed and spread out, not going to a mix of five corporations, letting everyone with the next one get. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just so weird how like there used to be actual competition, and now it seems like more and more that like these corporations are just like what is Amazon's competition? eBay? Like what is Walmart's competition? What are these massive chains like competition? Target's only competition is like Walmart. Like you know what I mean? What's CVS's competition? You think it's the local pharmacy? Hell no. Local pharmacies don't exist anymore. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's all for the sake of comfort as well. Like, it's mildly more convenient for you to go to a Walmart than it is for you to go to like a local supermarket. It's mildly more convenient for you to buy something from Amazon versus go into the store that sells it and buy it. You know what I mean? I like to see Europe have their own Amazon. Isn't there Amazon there? Is that what you're saying? Like there's not a European version of it. It's just Amazon. I mean, the problem is like with Amazon, you're never gonna get the same shipping routes. You're never gonna get the same rates on everything. It's at this point, it's just too late. Our UK towns are losing shops. Yeah. I mean, dude, like even malls in this country, like 10, 15 years ago, like having a shop in a mall was like basically like a lottery ticket. Like you were just gonna make money. And nowadays, like you go into a mall and half the things are closed. Half the things are boarded up. It's just so weird. I mean, I have like some idea of like what's happening in the UK because it's pretty similar to what's happening here. A lot of it's just like the consolidation of wealth to like less and less people every year, and it's getting harder and harder to establish yourself. Like when my parents were buying a house, they were able to buy a house. Like it's gonna be a while before I can ever, even begin house shopping. It's gonna be a very long time before I can even do any of these things simply because of the rising costs, simply because of the rising housing cost in relation to wages. Like it's really kind of messed up that like everything is just going in one direction and it's not favorable for the small guy. I mean, the thing is, I feel like there's people talking about like an AI bubble. What do you think about that? I was seeing something about that yesterday. Do you think? Do you think there's like an AI bubble, like a dot com bubble, Hypnaudio? Because I just see too many people with too many different AIs, and like I just think a lot of these are just gonna blow up in their faces. I don't think like why is every single company trying to make their own AI? Why is it? It's just weird to me. I wonder what your take is on that. I haven't studied it long enough, and I haven't like looked into it long enough. I'm just wondering. I mean, it's like anything though. Technology should be a good thing. Technology should be some things that bring us together. Instead, it's something that's used to like monetize every facet of our lives. Like every second you're on YouTube, every second you're on Instagram, every second you're on anything, you're actively being studied so that they can sell you ads. Like it's so messed up when you think about it. Like anytime you spend on the internet, they're just trying to find a way to steal money from you. You said 20 years of progress in the last 5 years. Yeah, that's what it seems like to me. Like, um, it's crazy. Like, I saw the robot. Oh, what is that? Is it Boston Dynamics? That's the one that has the robot. I saw the robot like trying to like walk up the stairs and it fell, and now it's like doing flips. Like it's really weird how quickly and how fast that stuff just starts working. Bro, why? What? You gotta get off that website, man. Why is it the first thing you think of? I feel like consciousness is an algorithm. I mean, in essence, if you really want to simplify it to that, you can. I think consciousness is beyond anything that we can comprehend. I mean, it's a good way to understand it, but like, it's the same thing with simulation theory. Like, I guess it's true, but it's just like it's a very simplified way of viewing things. Yeah, it's. What do you think about AI taking jobs? I don't. We might have the same take. It's like I think a lot of people are going to be able to use AI to their benefit, but I think AI is going to take a lot of the low level jobs. But if you have any sort of creativity, I don't think AI can replicate that. Because to me, creativity is like a spontaneous, like something that can't be explained by any past experience. And AI is all past experience. This is all past data. Anyway, I'm glad to see you live. Yeah, it's good to see you as well. I there's so many people that like I stopped streaming for a while, and I guess like I just haven't seen because I haven't been doing it consistent times. But it's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for having a good conversation. Yeah, no, there's definitely good parts about AI, but I think a lot of it is just like it's so bad. Like, have you ever tried to have AI write you something, like write you something creative? It's just it doesn't it doesn't like understand the nuances. It doesn't understand how to tell an interesting story. It really can't. It can't move you in the same way that Shakespeare can move you. It can't move you in the same way as these greater works of art. You know what I mean? They go make people more efficient in being an expert with experience. Yeah, yeah. That's the one. I'm not worried honestly because I'm such a unique person that like I don't think AI could ever have the stupid thoughts I have. Like my mind just works in such a weird way it'll never be replicated. But it definitely is a rising concern for a lot of people, and I think it's gonna change the way entry jobs are seen. God bless. It's an interesting time. I don't think you can even speculate either. I don't think like a lot of these predictions are going to make sense in a few years because whatever we see is going to be so far from what we think. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely good for code. It's definitely good. My dad's company uses AI for discovery, and it's saving a lot of time and money. So it's going to change the legal profession a lot. I'm trying to think of other things it'd be good for. It's probably decent with history too, because history is just, I mean, depends if you think it's Victor's history, but history is really just facts, so it could probably summarize a lot of that stuff. Math is probably pretty good at. I mean, it has to be computers or just math, but I'd be interested to see like where it falls short though. Use it for Bible study. Oh yeah, because it could just pull the quotes for you, right? Is the interpretation good or no? I guess it could synthesize like stuff like C.S. Lewis said with like stuff St. Augustine said as well. It's an interesting idea. Damn, my hip hurts. I'm literally losing my voice right now, so I'm gonna end the stream. Thanks Hypnotio again for the super chat. It's weird saying that. Yeah, Grok 3 is really good. I was talking to Grok 3 about philosophy and it was kind of incorrect though. That's the one thing I have to say about it. But before I lose my voice, I'm gonna head out. I can literally feel it like getting scratchy. So I may stream again later. I'm not sure, but it was good talking to you, Hypnotic. I think it's been a while since like we had a good conversation like this. Everyone else that's here as well, have a good rest of your day. Peace out.